Bam, 1212. What's the podcast? 1212. What's the podcast? Episode 96. What's the podcast? We are back. I am here, DJ Jerome Baker the third, the number one black cyclist, Indian everywhere. Don't get it twisted. I see the haters creeping in, but we're not going to say your name. And I am back with my man, always available, aka hashtag Streetwear Eddie.
What up? What up?
And Don't Charge Abdul.
Number one runner in Washington, D.C. You know the
Listen,
vibes.
man, episode 96. What's the podcast?
I don't know if you saw this, Jerome, but Strava called me a legend today.
Did they?
They said I'm a local legend. I got the email.
That's
I saw you put that up.
I hope you feel good about that.
I mean, I already knew that, but yeah. I mean, it felt good to get recognized like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Strava is a running app that we use. You can use it for work. And actually, you know what? This is not an ad. Fuck y'all, Strava. So let's just keep going. They called me a legend, which is all we need to talk about right now.
For sure. Strava is a fitness app that a bunch of us use. Shout out to our guy Big Dave Ostroff, Dream D, amongst a bunch of other people that we're just super cool with. And it's just accountability is really all it is, and we just hold each other accountable because we're trying to continue to be our best physically as we count the days and nights.
Can you guys do it together? Like you're on your bike and you're running, and you have to be on the same app, and like, is it like a calories thing or something, or what is it?
I've never tried that before, honestly.
I think you can set up challenges like that to see who gets more calories and things like that. But I have the free version. If you subscribe to it, there's the functionality changes drastically when you subscribe to the app. But Strava, listen, man, sponsor the show. Let's talk more about it and educate the people on y'all app. Stop playing.
Oh, listen, I think the paid
Throw the
version,
bag our way.
I think the paid version is a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Like,
How much is it?
I don't even care.
We missed the best opportunity.
The introductory offer.
It was like $2.99 a year for two people.
Wow.
For real?
So yeah.
Wait, $2.99 or
yes, $2.99.
What is it now? Like $30 or something?
$50, something like that.
for the year?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
not
For
that
two
bad.
people?
Nah, I think it's for one person.
Oh.
Yeah, I think if I had the paid version, but you got to have other people that also have the paid version too,
Yeah,
right?
but
in order
again,
to participate in all these things.
Correct, but I think the thing is when you're doing the paid version of Strava, it's a very popping opportunity. Like it's like you're
I
really
think Dave Ostroff has the paid version.
well, you're just tapped into your health like to another level. Like you're really
Yeah.
trying to get it. You
get-
almost
You get
have
full
fit-
analytics on your blood sugar
yeah,
levels.
Yeah, for sure. It's like buying the new
Yeah.
Apple Watch and then you want to
Yeah.
track your sleep while wearing a watch.
That
you know
motherfucker
what I
send you
mean?
your glucose levels on an hourly basis.
Oh, bullshit.
All
No,
that.
thank you, Strava. I don't need all that.
All that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need that. I think I'm 40. I think by the time I'm 42, I think I'm gonna go for that. I'm
You're gonna
tap
get the
in with
paid version.
Oh yeah, paid version, new Apple Watch, and just like commit.
Hey.
Can you set up challenges without the paid version?
It doesn't look like it. I'm
Okay.
looking through it right now. It
So
doesn't
somebody
look
you
like
know has the paid version if there's challenges.
Yeah. It doesn't look challenges. Hold on one second, people. We're here trying to make it work. You can join challenges.
Yeah, you can join challenges.
You can join challenges, but you can't set them up. It looks like.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you need to subscribe to it in order to do that.
Nevertheless, Strava, you know what it is. Episode.
Cut the
96.
check, Strava. Stop playing.
Yeah. What's the podcast? Episode 96.
You see where we are, episode 96, dog. Strava,
And
come on.
We're here in the nation's capital. Obviously, there's been a lot of activity. There's more activity on the way. Before we get into that, how's everybody's week been? Because mine's been pretty awesome. Just chugging along here, thugging out.
You know-
what I'm saying?
My week has been actually, what happened to my week? It just kind of flew by. Oh, I told you my wife's car got stolen in front
Yeah, I
of
was
the
going to
crib.
say, you had a big week, yeah.
Yeah. It actually got recovered today. They found-
Shout out to Tile.
The police. Shout out to the Metropolitan Police Department. You know where it was?
Huh.
Behind Target in Columbia Heights. It had been sitting there.
Oh, in the
For
parking
like-
garage.
Wow.
No, on the street, right by the soccer
soccer
field
field?
on Hyde Street.
Yep.
So it had been left there. It had a few parking tickets on it. The back windshield was smashed. But it's all good. We got it back. It's at the dealership now getting fixed up and all that. So
They didn't
but-
fuck it up?
nah, the car still runs well. They put like few miles on it. It smelled like weed, normal shit.
Yeah.
Some kids went for a ride and then just threw that shit over there.
Real Columbia Heights activity, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yo,
Listen,
that shit was everywhere. That car was all city.
it was all DMV.
All
It was
area.
in
It was all metro. It was all metro.
Yeah,
it was in Greenbelt, it was in Fairfax, and then it ended up in DC. So shout out to the kids that took it.
Yeah. They have fun.
Yeah, somebody left their purse in there and all kinds of
Wow.
stuff. So it looks like they had a good time though. So yeah,
Listen, man,
but
be
yeah, the
careful
car
out
is
here.
back.
Be careful out here if you're following us on Instagram. I uploaded a photo of a Honda Civic, a Honda Accord that the neighborhood had just left on the ground. Basically, they took all the wheels. All
Oh
the rims.
yeah, I haven't seen that since the early '90s. They left.
They dropped.
They
that
left
shit
them on cinder blocks.
Right on the rotors. No rotors.
Yeah, right on the yeah.
Yeah, so when I first saw it, it was literally sitting on the ground, and then whoever owned the car must have came back and put it on 2 tires. So then it was sitting on 2 tires, and I'll upload the photo again. So when you're listening to this,
Somebody came and stole the tires.
I looked again today, and it was gone.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? So just be careful out there. Another one of the homies was doing some work in the Columbia Heights area, and he came across some kids too, and he's our age, and he said he had to like get physical with these kids. Him and his man had to.
Oh yeah, they had to put them in their place.
Yeah, because I think they tried to rob him or something like that.
Yeah, he said they tried to jack him.
Yeah, so be smart out there.
Like carjack him or they try to rob him?
Nah,
rob him.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought they were trying to carjack him.
No, I thought it was a robbery.
Okay.
But nevertheless,
Either way, he's safe. I was reading not carjackings, but car thefts in the district have gone up 41%. That's almost half as much more as they were the previous year in 2020. Just a couple of days ago, a mother ran inside of a store. Actually, this was in Columbia Heights too, I think, or Petworth. But Shorty ran inside, left the kids in the car. They came in and took that car with the kids in it, a 2-year-old and 4-year-old. And homie who grabbed the car must not have realized the kids were in it. And as soon as he saw it, he dumped the joint 10 minutes later and just bounced. But so lucky for the parents, she recovered her kids. But, just let that be a note. Do not leave your kids in the car, man. And if you have to leave them locked, don't leave the car running.
Yeah.
They said the majority of the thefts that have happened have been Uber Eats delivery dudes who just run out because they think they can just go drop off the food and leave the car running. Man, they come back to nothing.
They snatch it up.
They snatch that shit and keep it
I can
moving.
attest to that. I see it all the time in my building. You come to the door and the car is still running, and they got a handful of food, and they're looking back trying to just dump. But it's like, bro, if y'all just have the smallest distraction, you're not walking home.
It takes less than a quarter calorie to turn that ignition switch off.
No bullshit.
Just turn the fucking car off, bro, and put the hazard lights on, and just walk out. That's it. That's all you have to do. Because I don't think it's easy to steal these newer cars now, especially with push start technology and all that. It's got to be hard, right? So the only way you can really take a car is if somebody fucks up and leaves the car running or leaves the keys in the car, shit like that.
Yeah.
So and the caliber of thieves that we have who are like younger kids for the most part, they're not hacking none of these cars and fucking intercepting signals and shit like that to start a car. Them motherfuckers are just making sure that somebody left the car running or the keys in it, and they grab that shit and go.
Yeah.
So just be careful, man. Keep your third eye open. That's what it is. Washington, D.C., we here.
Washington, D.C., we're here. Fellas, while you're at it, check the private chat we've got going on. I just dropped some knowledge right there.
Word?
All pay attention to that real quick.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So pay attention to that. But nevertheless, what we need to do is go ahead and just Eddie. You didn't even speak to how your weekend was or past.
I didn't really got much going on this past week, man. I was just chilling in the crib, man. Trying to stay safe. We got that first round of vaccination, so we trying to play it cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to get situated now, man. That's my priority for the rest of the month is to get this out the way, just so that we can, make it get it out the way, man. I think they said February is when a lot of it opens up for like everybody else. The under
I think it's
65.
open. I think it's open for starting to open up for everybody now.
Nah, I
Isn't
know
it?
February 1st they put something. I can't remember exactly, but February 1st
Yeah.
the round of vaccinations open up again. I know Arizona had to open up early. They had to open up their second round of vaccinations because they saw a spike, a crazy
Yeah.
spike. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
once again, man, my beloved state, let's get it together, B. I'm trying to go home ASAP. Okay,
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm starting to feel it over here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We got a lot of positive feedback on our new infrastructure setup and the YouTube page. So that was something new. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
We got a lot of feedback. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. We're going to be on YouTube moving forward every week. Um, but I just, I also, Eddie and I both got the vaccine. So second shot's coming soon.
Yeah.
Second dosage. And then what are we doing? How are we celebrating? Should
Yeah,
we go away?
We're gonna do something, man. I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely going on vacation. Something.
Yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah.
well, listen,
I'm
man,
ready.
once I join the gang, we'll make it work, so that everybody is feeling good. We'll go get something to eat in Baltimore. All right, we'll go to my man's restaurant.
Yeah, I'm with it.
We'll celebrate in that respect.
Oh yeah.
Episode 96. What's a podcast? Obviously, we're here in Washington D.C. We are. This is keep it real, man. Trump was impeached again. For the
Yes.
second time. And basically he was found incitement of insurrection
Exactly.
for his role in last week's deadly Capitol attack.
5 people died, bro.
Right. So, but because Mitch McConnell is not in a rush to set up the impeachment hearing, he's going to stay in office. He'll finish out his term because it takes a Senate conviction, and the Senate's not in. It's not in session right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously, we saw a big part of last week's activity as well. Was Trump was banned from pretty much every social media platform that you can think of. Whether it's Twitter is where it started. I believe it trickled down to Facebook. My man was banned from Tumblr, Pinterest. Man, I mean, if you think about it,
he's still on Friendster though.
My man is on MySpace.
He's on Black Planet.
No bullshit.
if anyone is on Friendster or MySpace or
What was the
Black
other one?
Planet,
My Five or High Five? Remember that one?
Asian Avenue.
Oh wow, I don't know about that one. Asian Avenue
yeah.
is something new to me. What was that for the Asian joints?
That was Black Planet for the Asians.
And they
yeah.
have
Ooh, there must have been. Mi Gente was popping too. I got it in on Mi Gente.
Or what was it? Friendster? Do you remember Friendster?
Yeah,
Friendster.
Friendster.
Yeah.
Friendster.
So
There was High Five. There was we gotta dedicate one episode to these social networks and how we got it in back in the day. Instant Messenger, you remember that? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I did a lot of dirt on Instant Messenger.
So
AOL.
basically, Trump
You
was
still got an
Trump,
AOL email
Trump
address,
was Trump was basically banned from, but even more so
Like
from the social
Google.
media platforms.
He
Yeah,
was
pretty
banned from
much like
Google.
wherever you can sell merch, like every I mean web hosting companies, like everybody was getting rid of him.
He's dying right now.
I think what was also though an interesting byproduct of Trump being banned from a lot of social media platforms was a lot of companies that stopped giving money to the GOP for like the senators who voted against or who voted for Trump to not be impeached. Right? So there was like 50 companies that cut ties with a lot of GOP senators because they're like, hey, man, if you guys don't think this is bad, we can't give you money anymore, right?
Yeah.
New York City deaded every contract that they have with Trump organization. They basically said, we
Right.
can't rock with this dude anymore, which, I mean, they should have done a long time
They should have
ago,
done that
but-
a long time ago. But apparently
Exactly.
there were like smaller businesses. I think he operates an ice rink, and then bigger businesses like he
Two
has a
ice
golf
skating
course.
rinks.
And then he has a golf course up in the Bronx. So they've deaded all those contracts, man.
Now, yeah, they were smaller companies, but they still brought him in excess of $17 million a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good amount of
significant.
change. Of
Don't get
course.
fucked up.
And speaking
Yep.
of golf, I think the PGA deaded all of their
Events at
events
Trump
that were Trump
golf courses.
properties as well. Yeah,
Good.
And they said
good.
They said that was one of the things that really sort of sent him over the top because it's just
That's all he does is play golf too.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's his shit.
There's also I was hearing that he was thinking about pardoning himself, but his lawyers advised him against that because that would open him potentially a lot of civil lawsuits. Because once you pardon yourself, you essentially saying you were
Admission of guilt.
guilty.
Yeah.
It's like an admission of guilt. So that could potentially open him up to a lot of civil lawsuits from all these like MAGA folks who were here and did destruction and got arrested or all these other
Yeah.
things. So he's pissed about that, and he said he's not pardoning anybody else as a result
He
of that.
pardoned
Which
his
is,
kids, right?
I don't know if he had pardoned them yet, but I think
had
that
not.
was the plan. That was the plan for him to pardon them against all federal charges. But yeah, so listen.
Yeah.
If he either he pardons himself and still gets sued on
I
civil
don't think he can
civil
pardon
court.
himself.
No, I think that's the thing.
I
I
don't
think
think- yeah, I don't think
he's
you
found a
can.
loophole where he's going to try to do that if possible.
That's
He
right.
might pardon himself for all these other things.
I'm
For
trying to-
example, like
yeah.
the Russian collusion and the tax things and all these other things, which
That's the cheat code right there. If you could just pardon yourself.
but he can only pardon himself against federal crimes. So
Yeah.
on a state level,
Yeah.
I think the New York State is the Southern District of Manhattan or
And
New York
Florida,
was
too.
they were the ones who were going to try to bring up tax charges
Yep.
against him. So that pardon has nothing to do with that. They're going to
Yeah.
still bring charges against him if they choose to. So, but listen, man, keep going, Jerome. What were you about to say?
I mean, you kind of knocked it out the box just in terms of, you're right. His pardon thing was basically Kushner told him not to do it, right? A lot of his senior aides were told not to do it, told him not to do it. I mean, there's a lot of infighting within the Republicans, within
I
the
hope
White
they all
House,
go
I'm
to
sorry.
jail, man. They all
Yeah,
need to
I
go to
think
jail.
What we're the bigger story, or another big story, I should say, what we're seeing this week is sort of finding out how this attack went down. And there's been a lot of information that it was sort of an inside job. If you listen to some of the Democratic senators, they're saying that their emergency buttons in their chambers were like all ripped out.
Get the fuck outta here.
Yeah, Republican
Wow.
Republican senators had given tours to certain people the day before it happened, and now they're saying that some of those same people who they gave tours to have now been found guilty of, running up in the
Like
building
being
and
there.
everything, of being in the Capitol. Yeah. So there's just been a lot of information. I think we're at a point now where we're seeing America is embarrassed, and now we're seeing there's 15,000 National Guard that are going to be deployed, and I heard there's a possibility of another extra 5,000
Yeah,
that are
it's-
supposed to be. So downtown DC next week is going to be like completely locked down.
Well, it's all actually already
It's
started,
yeah, I was
Jerome.
saying, it's starting to
The
get like
tra-
that now.
The traffic today was crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
I went for a run this morning around 6:00, and I normally go down by the monuments, and it was completely gridlocked. Like leaving there was a pain in the ass. I'm not even gonna front. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to change my route for the next few days, possibly, just because of that. Because traffic getting back to the crib was crazy.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, I think, and like I said, I just think at this point, America does not want to be embarrassed, and I think, one of the bigger issues that we're seeing is just like the biggest problems that America has is kind of looking itself in the mirror. It's like white people need to have an honest conversation with themselves. Like this
Yep.
wasn't really a black or brown issue, so to speak. We literally watched white men walk up in the Capitol, wreak
And
havoc, women, kill a police officer.
They
Four
dragged
other-
him and killed him, beat him to death.
4 other people died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just a terrible, terrible situation that I think is gonna be in my daughter's and Abdul's daughter's history books in the next 2-3 years. Like
For
you
sure.
literally have to burn every history book and rewrite them. now.
Yeah.
Because I'd say 90% of the things that the four of us, including Silent Tom, learned in history 25, 30 years ago
Yeah.
is either historically incorrect or was made up. It's just some BS. You know what I'm saying? Like
Completely.
it was just there to cover up for the
Yeah,
wrong people. But
combination of those two.
yeah, but like if you
Yeah.
really, really have honest conversations, and the way kids are now, they can find information that's not in the book. I'd hate to be a teacher. Like
Yeah.
if you're a teacher and you have to teach these untruths, and a
Yeah.
kid brings it to you, what are you going to say to a kid?
You
Right.
can't.
Like, dog, you're right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think it
I
would be interesting to be in education right now if you're willing to be like open minded and willing to really speak the truth. You know?
yeah.
And I think what's really going to also change that is that we're seeing teachers be younger and younger, and that have experience and are more open to telling their students the real truth of what the
Yeah.
history of America is, right?
Yeah.
You know,
How could you not?
yeah, right. Because these younger kids are actually a lot more conscious, and they understand. We're seeing young, even white kids, really calling out their parents for being racist or for voting for Trump. I mean, even within Trump's whole campaign, what's Shorty's name? Kellyanne Conway. Her daughter's been live on Instagram shitting on her parents for supporting Trump,
Yeah.
and I think we're seeing that's just the new generation coming up, right?
Yeah.
They've been fully immersed with. Well, I'm going to say majority of them have been fully immersed with people of color and come up with them and really have friends that they
Yeah.
love that are of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and cultures. And as a result, they're more willing to explain the truth to their students than we probably saw a generation or two before
Yeah.
them. So
I
our
feel like
teachers were not willing to do that, but
I
I
feel
think
like the white people that are like our age too are teaching their kids what's true too.
for
you
sure,
know?
of course.
Like it goes beyond. It's like it starts in the house. You know, I think that people that are our age
Yep.
should be telling their kids the truth. You
Well, I
know?
think
Eh, eh,
I agree. I agree, Eddie. I feel like they are teaching, but I think they're also unlearning a few things as well. And I think they're
Yeah.
recognizing that what they were taught wasn't the truth,
Right.
right? And so,
Well, any of us were taught wasn't the fucking
yeah,
truth.
but you know, like it's one thing to, you know, like if you've hung out with minorities or been cool with minorities for the past 20, 25 years, you know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
you know, but I mean, like really have like we know a lot of people who can say, "Oh, I have black friends," or "I work in this industry," but like, when's the last time you really had somebody in your home or somebody that was, you know what I'm saying, really not like somebody who you knew like that, and you just had an open conversation. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who don't do
Indeed.
that. Their circle of friends is their circle of friends, and yeah, you like LeBron, but and obviously he's not going to Eddie, but I'm just saying like so. You know, I think we're just going to see a big change, and these kids got to go for it, and you know, like
Yeah.
we'll see how white America responds because there are supposed to be armed what is it armed
Armed protests.
protests at every,
Terrorists.
Yeah. No
okay.
bullshit.
There's supposed to be armed protests at every capital, at all 50 capitals, is I believe next Wednesday. So a week from
Right.
tonight, supposed to be armed terrorists at every state capital, and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
this time again, I think America's embarrassed. You know, I feel like we're learning about it. There was a guy by the name of Ali Alexander.
Right.
He's from Arizona. He was saying that he had help from 3 senators who were based out of Arizona into planning.
Alabama and one other place.
Okay, and
Yeah.
they were the ones that essentially planned the January
July
6th
6th. Yeah. January
6th
6th.
event. Yeah.
Yep.
And so he's going to be
Wow.
a person of interest. Or the more that he speaks, I don't know if he's in hiding now, but so far he's let it all go. He's emptied
Is
the
he-
clip.
Is he a white guy?
No,
What is he?
his name
Ali
Ali.
is
His first name is Ali.
Ali is an Arabic name.
He's brown.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's some real self-hate shit. Like
Oh, come on.
how did
yeah.
he get there? Like you know what I'm saying? I would love to just understand that story and what the fuck happened to his childhood and his whole life that made him go
Basically,
in that direction.
He's been a right wing.
We're gonna hear about it.
He's been a right wing activist for the longest, and he is really he's a bit delusional. He explained that God told him that the color orange is the color of victory, so he's only
Oh,
worn
shit.
orange. He's
Oh,
only worn
he's-
orange for a minute.
He's
Yeah,
wild.
he's wilding, but he was so wild that he caught the attention of that squad, and you know what I'm saying, they entrusted him to lead them in this insurrection. And once he got caught, he just started singing. He started singing like a bird. He gave
Wow.
up all the names, and so We've seen a few. I know there was a senator, a guy who was in the House of Representatives in Delaware or West Virginia. He was at the Capitol. He had to step down immediately. I believe there was a woman from Texas. She had to step down. There's been officials that are, like high-ranking government officials in their states that came here. Or was a woman who was in the Army from North Carolina. She led a group of people here. Clarence Thomas, who obviously has been a controversial figure for a long time. His wife sponsored 70 buses to come into D.C. for the rally.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're joking.
Dead ass. Now she looks white bread as a piece of snow. A piece of snow.
Yeah.
But he's.
I thought you were about to say as a piece of slut. I was like, what? All right, that's where we going. Call Clarence Thomas' wife a slut.
I mean,
what do you
know? I'm not gonna do that. But, we just do know that there's a lot of people in positions of power, and I think when they get this down to the nitty gritty, they're gonna have nobody to blame but a lot of Republicans. It was an inside job, man. It was a bad look, and at this point, this call for unity, I think, is complete BS. They just don't want to be held accountable, and to me, you have to hold people accountable, and you have to make examples out of people. You have to let them know, like, this behavior won't be accepted, tolerated, and we're going to throw the book at X amount of individuals. You know what I'm saying? And once that happens, then I believe you'll really start seeing people sing. Because when you start seeing Fed time, because do remember, Trump had passed all those rules about protesters and rioters to try to crucify the Black Lives Matter folks.
Yep.
But now it's coming right back on these, these patriots, quote unquote.
Yeah. On these pilgrims.
And shout out to Mel D. Cole. I don't know if you guys follow Mel D. Cole on Instagram, but his Instagram has been the best documentation of this insurrection ever. Mel always puts himself in the front lines. He's always he was the illest photographer at like Santos Party House 12 years ago. And now he's like, I think Nat Geo picked up a couple of his photos.
Oh, yeah, world-renowned photographer.
Yeah, I mean, super ill. So if you follow Mel D. Cole, please do that. We'll make sure he's tagged in this. And
he actually dropped a book on photography not too long ago, too.
He did.
Go support that as well.
He did. But these images that he put up now, man, they're game changers.
Yeah,
they're
game
real
changers.
Game changers. He was on the front line. He did one post full of nothing but black Trump supporters at the rally.
That shit was wild.
It was wild. It's been deleted 3 times, and he keeps putting it back up, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And you got in the very first post, I know you guys saw the kid with the crazy locks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a confused
He's from
little
here,
child.
too. He's from PG.
He's from PG County. Yeah.
PG County, and he does not know his left from his right. You
Oh,
know what
my
I'm saying?
God.
Like,
Yeah.
that was, but I think it's a great look into showing that, race doesn't matter when it comes to confusion.
When it comes to stupidity.
Right? When it comes to just not always having, things in the right frame of mind. It's just like, we can all do better, but y'all can do a lot better. Like, nobody is as bad in this. But nevertheless, follow Mel D. Cole. We're happy that Trump got impeached. I just looked at CNN. They actually said there's a good chance that he will be impeached. He can still be impeached.
He'll be found guilty of the impeachment.
Yeah, but he can still be found. He can still be found guilty when he's no longer the president as well.
Right. Okay. Good. Good.
So because again, they're trying to take away the traveling budget and the lifelong
the pension,
and I think the security
detail.
And he'll never have to be addressed as Mr. President ever again. Like, he won't.
And he won't be able to run.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
I got to say, one of the things that really brought me joy was watching these pilgrims get arrested when they thought they were home scot-free.
Nobody's scot-free, dog. Nobody's scot-free.
No, they thought they were.
Yeah, but nobody is.
Listen, they thought they were, and they were shocked.
Yeah, they all shaved their face and changed.
On no-fly lists on the airport. Yeah. One shorty, she had already made it home. She was at the baggage claim waiting for her bag to come off. They came and scooped her right up, and that shit made me fucking happy.
They're gonna get everybody. They're just getting the people that were like exposed by the taking selfies and shit or whatever. But they're gonna get everybody, man.
I mean, I hope they literally do get everybody, which would be thousands of people.
I mean, they're saying that if you had like a cell phone on you and you were in the Capitol, then they're getting like records from all those different cell phone companies to like try to triangulate every phone that was in there.
Yeah. That was
So-
inside of the Capitol.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're
Okay.
especially if you're not from DC and your phone was like in there, then what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're gonna charge everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that's amazing. I think they need to really bring these people to trial, and
Yeah.
I do think that something like this is going to scare off the pilgrims from coming back next week, though.
No, I think they're
Do-
coming back, man. I think they're coming back.
You think they are?
Yeah,
You think they're going to go hard body like they did this
do you
last
see
week, though?
Do you see how stupid these motherfuckers are?
Very
Like,
much
Do you
so,
see
yeah.
the interviews? See how dumb these
Yeah.
motherfuckers are? They're definitely coming back. They're stupid as shit.
I do think that next week, us people of color should do our best to try to stay in the crib and let the pilgrims fight it out amongst themselves.
Yeah, let them kill each other.
You know what I'm saying? Come through with your guns and
Yeah.
take a shot at that military officer that you think you could get away with. See how quickly you get sniped.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's definitely going to be like a different situation. Like the way that they were acting with the police, though, I don't think that's just going to fly with the military.
No, and I hope
The
it doesn't.
military is not
because-
going to be playing tug of war with them and like letting them smack them around and spray mace on them and shit. Like the military's not doing all that.
Yeah.
They're not going for that.
I do think that the people that dragged that police officer out and beat the shit out of him and pretty much beat him to death, I think they should be charged with murder, and they need to really be brought to justice.
Well, I think that's capital murder. So I think that's automatic.
They were
automatic.
they ripped his badge off and were like,
Yeah.
kill him with his own gun.
Kill him with his
what they
own
were-
gun.
That's what they were screaming. Kill him
Yeah.
with his
I,
own gun.
I think that's capital murder, and I
But
think that's
he
automatic.
didn't he didn't die. He didn't die.
I think he did, bro.
Nah, he didn't. He didn't.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't believe he died.
One officer did die though.
One officer did die. He did not. That guy did not die.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Well,
his wife made a comment on Mel's photo.
Right. And I thought she had said that. Okay,
He passed
maybe I
away?
did read it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
did. Maybe I did read it wrong. Okay.
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah.
You know, all this talk about Trump and what's really going on and how his presidency has pretty much bottomed out and he's left such a stain on the number 45. Do you think that any of this would have happened, you know, whether it's BLM and George Floyd getting killed to Trump starting military forces trying to beat up protesters, peaceful protesters, to what's happened in Washington, D.C. last week with the Proud Boys? Do you think any of this would have happened if there was no COVID? If, let's say, 2020 went regular, do you think we would have flipped the Senate? Do you think that Biden would have won? Do you think any of these things could have potentially happened? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think any of this would have happened.
Yeah, you know what? I don't either. I think COVID.
I think everybody would have been too busy.
Yeah,
You know?
COVID really made everybody slow down
Yeah.
and pay a lot more attention to things that were happening. Right when everybody got to sit down because of COVID, we saw police in Minneapolis murder a man in front of us, pretty much.
whole
You know, we
world,
got to
yeah,
see it
the
in
whole
front of the
world.
whole world. We
Yeah.
got to see police in St. Louis murder Breonna Taylor, and everybody's eyes really opened up, and not just people of color, but white people also. You know,
Everybody,
the
yeah.
allies really opened up their eyes, and they really got to see firsthand what was happening, and they were able to speak against it. And then Trump started his fuck shit. And I think that was really the beginning of the end. People who were on the fence about him, who did not particularly like that, started leaning the other way. And so I you know, it might be some sort of blessing in disguise. I mean, you know, COVID came and killed a lot of people. Rest in peace to all those that have lost family members and loved ones. But I think if there was no COVID, I really think Trump would have got reelected, man. I do
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I believe
Yeah.
that there were so many things working in his favor. And
Yeah.
people just acting blindly, and like you said, people just being so busy
Yeah.
living life, just trying to get through it.
No doubt shit would have went down after George Floyd and all that. I mean, shit would have went down, but I don't think it would have been to this magnitude.
I agree.
there was no-
yeah.
if there
Well, the
was no
world.
COVID.
I mean, the world was just at a standstill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like everybody just had nothing to do. I remember, like those first 2 months we literally had nothing to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
and
Yeah.
and I think this might have been the first time that we saw Black Lives Matter really spill into the world stage. They had protests all around the world in every country you can think of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All across countries in Europe, people really stood up and in support
Yeah.
of
The
black people
movement.
in America
Yeah.
getting murdered by the police.
Yeah.
And whatever their experiences was with police and authorized and authorities in their countries also came to light. So I think it definitely would not have happened to that magnitude if there was no COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll never know, obviously, but the silver lining is a new president, as a Democratic
Yeah,
government, right?
Yeah.
Again, like we said last week, you got to apply pressure now in every way, shape possible. You know what I'm saying? Like hold everybody accountable,
Yeah.
and just sort of understand that, like, you matter, your vote matters.
yep.
You know what I mean? Like everything matters now. There's nothing off the table. Everything matters. So
Georgia
episode
has a black senator for the first time ever. Like,
let's go.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's
It's
go.
going down. Georgia is a blue state, bro. That would not have
Episode nine-
happened.
Well, I think a lot of it too, though. I think Georgia's been a blue state, and the South in general is a blue area. But I think we're just seeing the effects of how voter suppression has been. Like voter suppression is mad real, and when you see when it's defeated, it goes blue. You know what I mean? So now I think they were saying Texas is the next state they're trying to gonna flip. In the next couple of years, and we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Episode 96. What's a podcast? Obviously, we're in the mix. We're in the groove. One thing that we didn't speak about when we're talking about impeachment and all these things happening is with the inauguration on the way. It's a week away. Airbnb has stated that they have canceled all reservations in the DC area. I believe starting the weekend before, or which is
Good.
this weekend coming up, until a couple days after, because they just don't want to be held liable. Probably is really what it is.
Yeah.
But again, that's really a great look. I know there's some activity, some conversations being had about should hotels in DC shut down and do the same thing. I know I was supposed to stream from a hotel downtown on inauguration night. I was supposed to be in a hotel and stream, and they actually said, you know what, we're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So they shut down. And so we'll see what the fallout from that is. But I think, obviously we talked about a lot of DC is starting to gridlock now. I mean, I can only imagine what it'll be like Monday, Tuesday of next week. And this is MLK weekend too, right?
Yep.
I believe this is MLK weekend. So
Yep. And there was a MLK march that was scheduled to happen in Anacostia Park that did not receive a license to do that, and it's only because of all this other shit that's happening with terrorists, domestic terrorists coming into the city. They didn't want to potentially, for the safety of people, they didn't want to grant that license. So I get that.
I respect that.
I respect that as well. I think
Yeah.
I think that might have been a smart decision. Even moving around the city is really tough with all these road blockings and then you throw in pilgrim domestic terrorists from out of town coming in, and they're looking for a gathering of people of color. It could potentially start a problem. So listen, rather be safe than sorry, man. So I'm glad, and shout out to Airbnb, man. I think that was smart. We actually talked about last week or 2 weeks ago some hotel that canceled all their reservations. Right? What hotel is that down on East Street?
I'm not sure.
I think
about that one.
it is a hotel that all the MAGA crew is normally comes and stays at.
The Harrington?
The Harrington Hotel Harrington.
They got shut down though, right?
No, I thought they said that they canceled all their reservations except for employees or something like. Oh, you know what? My wife was telling me that.
Okay.
So the Hotel Harrington is apparently a spot that all those Proud Boys and people like that come and stay at. So, but they canceled all their reservations for those folks. So I thought that was great, and I'm glad to see Airbnb taking that approach as well, and really trying to do their best to stop people from coming into the city.
Were you out moving around that past weekend and did you see the presence of them in the city?
Man, I went running that morning, and at like 5:30 in the morning, and that road going to Haynes Point, which is normally empty,
Yeah.
had pickup trucks and all this shit parked alongside all the way to Haynes Point, to almost to like the golf course.
Yeah.
And it was at that point I realized, and they were all sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
Nobody was sleeping at a hotel. So,
that-
either that or
means-
they're just driven into town. And it was at that moment I realized, I was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are deep as shit. And I think I might have said something to you all about it as well. But it was at that moment I realized that it's not going to be like any one of the other gatherings. I think he had some like a month or two ago, right after the election, and those numbers were nothing. This was like the real deal. So yeah,
you can see him around.
I was shook a little bit. I was shook by seeing all those cars there and trucks there and Trump flags and all these things, and I was like, yo, they really came out in numbers this time. Like some could really go down.
Yeah, I think obviously, it's just good business, right? At this point, you don't want to be affiliated with anything MAGA. You don't want to give them any sort of advantage or anything in that respect. Episode 96, we talked about this at the end of last episode, though, is it's still very real out here. You still got to wear your mask. COVID is incredible, right? So far, the United States has seen 23,444,857 cases and just shy of 385,000 deaths.
God damn.
So far, just in 2021, we've already seen 3 million cases.
Damn.
It took 100 and what is this?
3 million.
It took 167 days to reach the first 3 million cases from January 22nd, 2020 to July 8th, 2020.
And we've seen that many in the first 13 days?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Bumbo clot.
But that's what they said. Travel for Christmas, travel for New Year's. That's what it's going to look like.
Yep.
And here we are, 2 weeks almost to the fucking day after New Year's, and 3 million people are infected.
So what they're saying now, though, is, so remember, as the election went down, a lot of professional sports stadiums, basketball stadiums, were used as voting sites. So now what they're saying is a lot of baseball stadiums are going to be used as vaccination centers. Obviously, because they're
Makes
open
sense.
air, right?
Yeah.
So LA has crazy COVID numbers right now. Yankee Stadium is going to be another space that has COVID vaccination sites. And so, I think we're at 384,000 deaths right now. Rest in peace. They're saying by early February we'll be at 447,000.
That's stupid, man. That's just fucking crazy.
So again, people, it's
people don't want to learn, man.
You got to wear your mask. I know we're starting to see videos of other countries. I know what we've seen Australia. We've seen Wuhan, right? We've seen like Indonesia, places like that, where life is back to normal over there.
Listen,
People's
they're doing full blown festivals out there.
Full blown festivals,
and they're not. They weren't even. They didn't flatten their curve from the vaccine either.
No, it was before the vaccine. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
They were just on some like, hey, let's take this serious from the jump.
Yeah.
And we'll.
What's also very surprising, in a place that a lot of people least expect to have control of the virus, is Africa, of all places. Africa as a continent is underdeveloped and with a lot of natural resources, but not a lot of money to really build an infrastructure, right? But they've somehow, especially countries in West Africa, have somehow managed to control the virus, and even them are able to put a lid on something like this. But here in America, it's just I think sometimes we just have too much freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know how bad it is in Africa. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe they're probably doing as much testing as we're doing here either.
They're actually doing a lot more, and they started doing it. They started doing it even before that we were doing it here.
Yeah,
Senegal developed a test that quickly took over. It was a cheaper and very reliable test, and they actually sent that out to all over other West African countries. So yeah, they were doing testing really, really early and getting numbers back really early. So
Yeah.
they were able to use that data they get and really control how the
Amazing.
virus was spreading.
Yeah.
So shout out to them, man.
Absolutely.
Africa again, the motherland is
Yeah.
yo, Wakanda. Come on. You know the vibes.
Well, I feel like unfortunately a lot of countries on the continent have had to deal with a multitude of
This is very true.
Yes. Yeah.
things and
Ebola, all these
viruses.
things. Yeah.
Viruses are one of them amongst
They're
war.
very,
Yes.
very
a lot-
familiar
so
with all this.
Yeah, so I believe that they're much more resourceful and they're much more disciplined
That's
when
true.
it comes to having to take the necessary steps to curb something of this nature.
That's a good point.
So if an African country is like, oh, word, that's another virus. Okay, let's
Yeah.
just hit our virus protocol. We're
Yeah.
over here like,
Yeah.
yo, Alabama just won the national championship, and there's
Yo, people are
5,000
out, yo.
people in
People
the
are out.
street climbing on
Oh,
top of
man.
each other.
Arizona,
Yo,
they be
like
wild in Arizona.
no, Alabama.
And Arizona.
And Arizona.
Relax.
Shout out to your brother. We haven't talked about him in
Shout
a
out
while,
to
man. How,
There's
Shout out to
Kelly in the
eight-
club.
851
about.
Kellen. You know what I'm
There's nothing to
saying?
talk about. Kellen's doing what he got to do. But
Kellen doing his thing.
nevertheless,
Shout out to Kellen, man.
Alabama won the national
Without a
championship.
mask on, though.
And there was not at all, bro. But
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Alabama won. I'm trying to get to this Alabama thing because they won the national
Say
championship.
Alabama one more time, Jerome.
Listen, Alabama won the championship. I believe there was 5,000 people in the street celebrating. Not many.
There's no
masks on.
COVID in Alabama.
Yeah, they don't believe
I mean,
it.
there's not a lot in Alabama, honestly, but
Now
I mean,
there is.
come on, like
They
COVID.
just had a
But again,
they just had a super spreader event.
Also,
the
that's how LA was when the Dodgers won, or even when the Lakers won. You know what I'm saying?
when
All I
LeBron
remember is my timeline on Instagram being completely flooded of people in the streets.
People are crazy, man.
All of that has led to the numbers in LA now. LA County is one of the
And
highest in
people
the country.
and they're not wearing masks. They're in the
Nah.
streets like living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to all our friends in LA, man. Be safe.
Stay in the house.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
Wear a
I think there's
mask.
I
Double
think there's
up.
a big opportunity for people just to do better. Obviously, we'll see what happens moving forward. There is, COVID's here to stay. I saw a study where they said that DCPS teachers get their vaccination starting February 1st.
Yep.
But I also saw that pretty much by 2022-23, COVID's going to be the common cold.
Moderna gang. Moderna gang.
That's what doctors are predicting COVID to turn into, is just a common cold, as common as the common cold, whatever the case may be. Ooh, got
Right.
that. And so we'll see what the future holds for it. I don't know if I want to just hey man, I got COVID, it's all good. Like, nah, I don't believe that doesn't sit well with me necessarily. But
I'm
we'll
not
see what
trying to.
happens.
I'm not trying to be like, hey, I got.
I don't
it,
wanna
it's
be
all
that
good.
guy.
Nah.
Nah, not at all. So there's various strategies that are going into COVID, and we'll see what happens.
Go get that vaccine, man.
the
Seriously.
vaccine.
Yeah.
Street
we
where
wanna
Eddie and I were on the vaccine list. We got vaccinated already. I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, tight.
Dose
We-
number 2 coming soon. You
We
heard?
want to give a shout out to Naomi Osaka. Obviously, she's an amazing athlete,
The young queen.
role model, and just overall good person. She is now the latest Louis Vuitton ambassador, and she has
That's
a
fire.
nice little story talking about she bought her mom Louis back when she was 16, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And it's dope to see that kind of come full circle. Obviously, she's accomplished in the sport of tennis, but
Mm-hmm.
with her winning, what was it, the U.S. Open this summer?
Yep.
She won the U.S. Open, and all the days she was playing, she kept wearing a mask with a different victim of police brutality on her mask, the name of a
A
different
real
victim.
message.
And
Yeah.
it brought so much attention. You know what I'm saying? It just helped further the cause, and you just want to see good people win, man. And she's a good person, so shout out to Naomi Osaka for landing that Louis Vuitton situation. Go ahead.
Now I was going to ask how old she is now. She's
24?
still under 21, right?
No, she's there.
I thought she just won it, and she was like 17 or 18 when she won.
Nah.
She might have. She's grown up.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
She was. She'll be 24 this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she'll be 24 this year. And speaking of Washington D.C., real quick, D.C.'s very own Shy Glizzy, who has been an artist we've all sort of watched grow up through his music, was recently featured on T.I.'s podcast, and it's very good to hear Glizzy sort of speak like a 27-year-old individual.
Yeah.
There's some maturity creeping in there. There is some just lessons that have been learned that have seemed like they've stuck and
Yeah.
sort of made him grow and become a better person. There's children involved. The streets probably have had taken their toll as well, but nevertheless, he's in a good space. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just a good interview. After you're done listening to What's a Podcast, and obviously,
Go tune in on that.
Ti is a he's an interesting host. You know what I'm saying? You definitely want to prepare yourself for that sort of
Yeah.
conversation, but. It's good to hear Glizzy growing up, man. I've interacted with the dude for at least, man, what is this, 21? For at least the last 9, 10 years. I've been, done many nights. I know I've DJed his birthday at least 5 or 6 times.
How old is
Uh,
Glizzy now?
27.
27.
He's still
So
young.
Yeah.
I've DJed.
I can't believe he started that early. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
10 years in the game. He's a vet already and 27
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, shout out to growth, man, and seeing people just mature and just sort of like try
Yeah.
to see the best in other people and give people a chance. You know what I mean? So, but
Shot
yeah, I
Glizzy,
mean,
come on the show, man. Come support us and holler at us. Come hang out with us.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to that. If you're a basketball fan, James Harden got traded from the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets. He pretty much quit on the Nets. I mean, he pretty much quit on the Rockets on Tuesday night's game. He just had a press conference after the game and sounded like he was just giving up. I think he kind of either knew the trade was on the way or he knew he was going to force his way into a trade. And
Didn't he say something like Houston sucks or something like that? Something
to that degree. Yeah, he's like, we're
Okay.
not good enough. Yeah, he's like,
We're not good enough.
Yeah, we don't have the talent. We're not good enough. And I saw how that some of the teammates spoke up against that. They felt that was very disrespectful. They felt like, hey man, we didn't come here for that. Nobody's done anything to you for you to be speaking about us like that. And so, there was some not positive feelings about what he said, deservedly so. I mean, that's
But how
wild.
is Houston as a team? Are they do they suck or are they doing okay?
They haven't lived up.
The
to
year
their,
just
they haven't
started,
lived
right?
up to their potential, huh?
Yeah.
The year just kind of started though.
Yeah, they're only 9 games in. A lot of teams have had a lot of postponements because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Wizards. The Wizards played my Suns on Monday. They beat them, and then the Wizards had to put half their team into protocol. Now the Suns' next 2 games have been called off because all these people are coming in contact with Corona, and that's just what's happened with the Rockets as well. So
Yeah.
I
NBA
heard
is
John
going
Wall
through it.
is balling though.
John Wall's hooping, man.
John Wall.
For real.
Yeah,
back with a
he's in
vengeance.
Houston, right?
Yeah, but he was one of those guys. I was like, listen, man, you can't give up on us nine games into the season. Like,
Yeah.
it's only been 9 games. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, their record isn't great, but it's only 9 games. Anything can happen. So, I think that there's just an opportunity for people to move on and grow, and hopefully Harden does that, and we'll see what happens in Brooklyn with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and their whole team full of players.
Also, I don't follow basketball, but some came across my timeline about Kyrie quit the Nets or something like that.
So Kyrie has been.
What is that? What's going on there?
He's been absent for the past 5 games due to personal reasons, but nobody really knows what's going on. Kyrie's a different person. Like I think they're learning that about him. He's a different person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's being paid $34 million. So. He might have this thing now that he's going through, but at some point, if they're like, "Hey, we either need
He got to show up
or
for work.
we either need you to play or we want our money back," then we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think if there are personal reasons, at least he's come out and said there are personal reasons, and sometimes teams might internally know what that reason is, so they have to respect it. But I the way that I read that headline almost felt like he just stopped showing up.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to hear that there is some sort of reason, and whether it's personal or whatever's going on in his life, and he needs to handle that. I mean, I understand that more than him just being like, "Yo, fuck it, I'm not coming back."
Especially right now. I mean, people
Yeah,
got
there's
shit-
a lot of
people got
things
shit
happening.
They're going through it now.
There's
Right.
family members getting sick. You gotta work
Yeah.
with everybody. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
People are unemployed. People are
Yeah.
getting sick. Like, people going
So
through
in the midst of, well, this is a change of subject. Episode 96. In the midst of the trade and the impeachment, it was announced today that the very beloved TV show Insecure. The next season will be the 5th and final season of
Yeah.
Insecure.
My
Black
wife is
Twitter,
very upset about that.
Black Twitter was very upset because that's their show. I've never personally watched Insecure.
It's a
Same.
good show.
You know what I'm saying? But
Go binge watch it. It's really good.
I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to do that. But
Why?
if you say, I just have no interest in it. But if you say it's a good show, shout out to everybody that watched it. There was a lot of strong reactions. People were genuinely hurt, which I'm just kind of like, it's
Yeah.
a TV show. People like some of the best shows that we've liked have only lasted 3, 4, 5 seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some things aren't meant to be
Yeah.
a 10-year run, especially now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But her name's Issa Rae.
Yep, Issa Rae.
Issa Rae.
She's super talented, and with her level of just creativity, I wouldn't be surprised if she has more things in the works that people will love.
Of
in the
course,
future.
she's.
You know
I
what
mean,
I'm
she's
saying?
become a big Hollywood star now with movies and all that
exactly.
stuff.
Exactly.
I did watch a movie of hers. I think it was on Netflix with Lakeith Stanfield, who's on that show ATL. And respectfully, I did not like that movie, but I am a fan of Issa Rae as well as Insecure. Even though I did not love the last season. My wife, on the other hand, thought that was the best season out of every season. So, listen, different folks look at things differently. So,
Shout out to Lakeith Stanfield. They said
Yeah.
that ATL, I guess, is going to come back in 22 and 23.
yeah, they're
So,
coming
like,
back.
I guess the seasons are going to run like back to back. Like they're not just ones. And they said it's the best TV ever. Like
You've never watched ATL either?
I watch ATL. I watch ATL all the time.
Okay.
My only
Okay.
episode of ATL that I had a problem with was the scary one. That was like crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit weird.
But
Do you
it was
prefer
dope. It was dope.
Do you
but it was just
prefer
crazy.
ATL the TV show or ATL the movie?
The TV
Bring
show.
it back to T.I. You didn't like the T.I. movie?
Nah,
I might have watched.
Really?
some of it. Yeah.
it was alright. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not that
Really?
Into, I'm not that into roller skating.
I'm not. But like, I'll be honest with you. I'm not really like.
I love that movie.
I don't.
I
Really
might be
like- I mean,
alone out here.
I'm not I'm not a huge Atlanta person though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I fuck with Atlanta, but I'm just not like.
Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, Atlanta, I gotta go DJ Atlanta. All right, cool, let's get it done.
I
Except for
watched
my
it.
man,
I
DJ
watched it
E.
once.
Oh my God.
Shout out to my man G-Rock who took me to Cascades, and I refused to roller skate there. But
I'm good, but shout
I'm
out to
good.
Atlanta. Shout out to my man DJ EU. That's my homie. But I was down there like 2 years ago, and it was a lot going on. But shout out to Atlanta.
Atlanta's
but
fun,
yeah.
man. I love Atlanta.
Yeah,
I'm going back after COVID.
Report. Let us know how
let
it
me
is.
let me get this second vaccination in. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna see me. I'm being in Atlanta with my
You gonna
shirt
be-
off.
Abdul's gonna be on the road.
Listen, you
I'm
can
gonna
go
be
to Atlanta
everywhere.
all you want. Atlanta's open, and you can test.
I'm not setting foot in that joint without a vaccination.
I
No
wouldn't
way.
Fuck.
I
no.
wouldn't set foot in Atlanta till 2025.
Well, I'm gonna let the heat kill everything down there.
Yeah, it's 4 times over though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
4 times over. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to y'all for helping flip the Senate and all that. But
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Stacey
I-
Abrams, the
yeah,
queen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, what else are you watching?
Yo, you guys gotta get in and watch this Tiger Woods documentary on HBO.
Oh yeah.
I think the first 2 episodes have aired, and there's another one coming on, I think this Sunday. I just kind of found this like literally a little bit before we started taping today, so I didn't even know about it. But the little bit that I watched on the first episode is fire, dog. Like, Tiger is really an alien. Like,
Yeah.
he really does not belong in this world. The shit that his level of playing golf and how he was trained by his parents, not just his father but his mother, is crazy. So very, very interesting. I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of things you did not know about Tiger that you're going to learn on this documentary. I don't think he's involved in it, but listen, the shit is on HBO, so go enjoy it. What What else am I watching? I'm still watching Your Honor, which is on Showtime.
I tried to start watching that, man. I watched the first episode. I can't get. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if
What
I
do
want to
you
watch.
mean?
I
What do
don't.
you mean? You couldn't get past the
I mean,
murder?
Yeah, no. The murder was cool, whatever. And then like, I don't know. I'm to the point where like, yeah, I watched the whole.
Listen.
I watched the first episode. Like, how? I don't know.
Power through it. Get to the second one.
It gets crazy.
Of course.
I know it gets crazy.
It gets really crazy.
Yeah.
And I started catching up on Sunday's episode last night and fell asleep around 2:00 in the morning. So I'm going to finish that up today. Damages. I talked about this show last week with Glenn Close and Rose Byrne and a bunch of other amazing actors. It's a lawyer show, suspense, and just really, really good writing and acting. Damages is on Hulu. I binge watched the first season. I finished the second season. I'm on the third season now. And you know, I'm gonna watch this shit and complete the whole catalog. So other than that, what else is on? Oh, This Is Us is back. You know, from their winter break. They started back up I think last week. So I got 2 episodes of that in the tuck. Once I'm done with Your Honor and This Is and Damages, I'm gonna catch up on This Is Us. So a lot of good TV. TV's coming back a little bit. I'm excited about that, as well as the Tiger Woods doc. I really enjoyed the little bit that I watched, so I'm excited to watch the whole thing, man. All episodes. So check it out. Yeah, a lot of good TV.
Check that out.
Yeah.
So
the Tiger Woods joint is entertaining, dog.
What's interesting about the Tiger Woods joint that from the description you gave us though is it sounds like when the parents kind of push their kids to like that next level of training.
Yeah, of
like
greatness.
We all kind of see it as crazy. We all kind of see it as maybe pushing, but it's what really pushes the kid from being good to great.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a pro skater by the name of Nigel Houston. Right. And everybody knows who
course.
Nigel is. He's got a Nike shoe. Right. His dad. From what you make it seem like, his dad did the same thing that Tiger's parents did. That just the training and just the overall level of dedication and commitment was like out of this world. Like Nigel never went to regular school. Like his dad made him go to like I'll homeschool you and you just skate for 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah. We saw the same thing with the Williams sisters, Serena and her sister as well.
So on the surface that sounds absolutely crazy, but when you look at the common thread is there is a sacrifice involved in order to be great, right? Yeah. And like some of the things that people enjoy, the high school, you know, junior high even experiences that you enjoy, these kids never had that, right? And it's like they're exactly.
It pays off.
You know what I mean? So like I don't really look at some of the parents and what they do to their kids is so outlandish.
Neither do I.
If they can see the bigger picture. No, I'm not saying you do, but I know there's a lot of people.
Yeah. No, I'm with them.
Of you know all your kids doing you're not letting them be a kid, et cetera, et cetera.
Fuck that.
But it's like, yo, if you recognize that your kid has a super talent, a prodigious talent, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a prodigal son. Like Tiger's hitting the ball 150 yards at 6 years old. My nigga, crazy. What does he need to go to regular ass school for?
He does fuck like, that school.
Yeah, fuck that school, right? Nigel Houston's dad damn near kidnapped him, had him living in like some wild farm in Jamaica somewhere, right? Until he was like 12 or 13. Nigel had dreads down to the middle of his back, but by the time he was 10, he had won every competition in the world.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Machine.
He was only like 25, 26 now,
yeah.
And like he's still like the best skater there is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So. I want to watch the Tiger documentary because I do believe that, yes, you should let your kids live and experience different things. But if I recognize that you can really, you're dumb nice at something, and look, all the soccer kids do it. All the soccer kids in Europe, man, what did Ronaldo left home at like 11?
All sports in Europe, dude. All sports.
Yeah. All of them, like Ronaldo left home at like 11.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your boy Luka Doncic.
Exactly, Luka Doncic. Yeah, he left home at 11.
Yeah.
Jerome, you, me, and Silent Tom really need to sit down and figure out what our kids are great at, and then push them. B. Yeah, we got to do that, man, because this is bullshit. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I would love to push my kids that hard, man. I just don't know what to push a bit. Let's think about that. Something that can make us all rich.
I mean, let's be honest. That was the byproduct of all of this. Like, it sucks. It sucks. You know, people from the outside looking in, people like, man, that sucks. Yo, but you're not rich. Those people are rich. You're fucking writing about them. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, let's fucking do it. I'm ready to figure something out. And even if my kids are not good at something, Eddie, we can push them towards it and make them great at it.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do. Though.
That's what you got to do. They don't have to be good at it. They can become good.
Well, it's almost like what do you want them to be good at? You know,
I got to figure it out.
Like, do you want your daughters to be like professional soccer players? Like, what do you want?
Yes,
them to do?
I would love that.
Yeah, then push them. All they do is fucking play soccer every day. No skateboarding, no piano, no nothing. Soccer. Like, that's it.
I'm gonna do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's what
I gotta figure that out.
We gotta figure that out.
They gotta go to sleep. They gotta go to bed every night with a soccer ball. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give them a soccer. I'm gonna make them use a soccer ball as a pillow.
Yeah, like,
but take their pillows away.
That's what they do.
Yeah, but we all knew that one kid in high school that would like dribble a basketball everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always
a tennis ball.
Yeah,
like dribbling the tennis ball all through the hallways.
Supposedly that's how Kyrie got nice. He used to dribble
that's how even in soccer you practice with a smaller ball, because when you get to a bigger ball, you get more control.
You have more control.
It's easier to control. Yeah. So if you can juggle a tennis ball, it's going to be easier to juggle a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Boom. What's a podcast?
Listen, we're dropping gems.
Cheat code. What's a podcast? Academy for development coming soon.
Gifted kids.
Yeah. Gifted and talented kids. The only way you can get a part of that is if you become a member of the YouTube. Right.
And if you give us $100.
Well, that's the membership. The membership.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Just the
membership
each. The membership will only get you a Zoom interview, right?
Yeah.
So all we're gonna do is like assess your kid, but if we find out there's real talent, we'll charge you more. But
and then we also get to adopt your kid if they have real talent. They're no longer your kid; they're now our kids.
Sign the papers, B. Episode 96 was the podcast. Knocked it out the park. Shout out to my guy, Don't Charge Abdul.
You know, #1 runner in DC, the legend, Strava.
My man, there you go. Always available. Hashtag Streetwear Eddie.
Yo.
What's the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Make sure you check us out. And we're out. Peace.
Subscribe, rate, and comment.